can't get a sword, it's basically one of 6 options.
I personally love Cane of Samaria. I think it's
nice...
one of the more... It's one of the more interesting items in the game that doesn't really get to see as much play through the base game because you get it all so late.
Willard gave us a...
Go ahead.
Willard gave us a map check, 2 pendants and a red crystal.
It did not appear that any of those pendants was green, so the light world is feeling kind of vanilla. Except for that crystal swapped in for the green pendant, as we're going to drop into the escape sequence and see what our uncle item is today. And we have the Cane of Berna.
Alright, so definitely a weapon you got to be careful with. The magic does go down pretty quick. Now the good news is, I believe, for the escape sequence at least, the magic usage will be normal. I think that's how it works for this.
I do still believe, though, that the no invincibility rule should be in effect. I haven't messed with it myself, because Expert would just make me cry.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. That they won't get invincibility from it, but it will use normal magic, because if it doesn't, you might not be able to get through this.
I definitely have to get there. There is a green guard, a blue guard, and a rat we need to kill, and as well as the boss at the end of the escape sequence, the ball and chain guard.
We actually have 2 blue, 1 green, and 1 rat. Though once you get into the sewers, you can get some magic. We also have a ball and chain guard, yeah, as you said, but we can do the pots with that one.
Yeah, and can confirm normal magic usage, because if not, that would have just kind of bleh. Actually, I don't think the magic usage is affected in this. The invincibility is just what's taken away, so it's just a circle of fighter sword damage. I think if they use this later, it would still be normal magic.
I think... Actually, yeah, I'm not 100% sure now. It will get... Now, the other thing is, it will give you invincibility in certain rooms. For example, like in spike rooms that you're required to cross, laser bridge, spike cave, stuff like that. You'll still get invincibility from it.
Yeah, the places where invincibility is the logical access to complete a room. Should be, and I believe in this, since we are an expert on the use of the magic cable's triple magic drain, as we are in expert mode. So this is going to be, there is no safety here. This is for the hardened players, as WillardJBradley and Kohrek certainly are at this point. And we see Kohrek employing the pot strats as well as WillardJBradley. It's a little bit faster and more efficient to just whip some pots at this guy. And we find just the map here, so nothing of note yet in the escape sequence, and also a note, nobody has yet to find a bomb.
Now, one thing that's nice to do with the cane in the sewers is in the first of the water rooms, there is a group of rats that are towards the upper right-hand corner. You can kill them all pretty quick with one quick blast if you go there. It's a nice place to use that magic. And also, the other thing to remember is there are a few small green pots in this area, so you can get more magic if you need to.
And shoutouts to HBI2K with a tier 1 sub. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming. Making our way up through the escape sequence, see what else this may be holding on to. Gotta go take care of that rat and make our way to the end of it.
You've seen the runners
see where it points us when we get done.
Yeah, you've seen the runners use pots when they can to kill enemies. Try to get that bomb drop. I think Kohrek's killed a few more green guards, so he'd be a little further along in the prize pool.
But as of note, we are in expert mode, so the item drops are down to 25% of their normal capacity. So finding that bomb drop is going to be even harder than normal.
And Kohrek's going for that magic pot in here, so is Willard.
Always feels good to get a little bit more magic and take care of some of these rats and hopefully find yourself a bomb. And Willard gets a magic drop there. Willard deciding to farm the ropes while Kohrek just presses on. One more chest back here to reveal. Oh, there's the bombs we're looking for. No need to farm anymore.
Yep, both will be able to grab the items down here on their way out. Of course, also both runners will know the other's going to get the items, so no wondering maybe I get an advantage if I'd gotten a bomb drop.
For those of you, for the one asking in chat, because we are on standard mode, in the escape sequence we get a free light cone that does not require the lamp, and this will be there for the duration of the seed. However, anywhere else, they will need to find the lamp in order to be able to see.
I like the other explanation. Zelda's got the lamp. That's why you have the light cone down there.
Makes sense, and we get our hammer right off the bat here, so not too many completely defenseless. We won't be defenseless for long, but being that it is swordless, you tend to see it fairly early, just not right out the gate.
So Kohrek's first out, though Willard has done a map check, which is part of the reason why Kohrek gets out first.
And with just 20 rupees as a reward for getting through there, all we have to do now is see where we're heading next. My guess is the village.
Now, with some extra bombs in the back of Escape, it means that they won't have to worry about bombs at all going into Kakariko.
Always feels good to know that you're not going to be spending any money on bombs, especially in this early game. Looks like both runners are going to make their way straight into the Lost Woods. Actually, well, Willard may be checking Lumberjack. We'll see if he decides to diverge to the right here.
He's doing a tree pull.
Yep, setting up the tree pull, and a nice bomb tree pull early. So definitely no need to worry about bombs here, as the Hoarder Crab just holds on to 5 arrow stacks as we find a blue rupee growing in its natural habitat. And our Lumberjack today is holding on to, looks like just a big 20, so no need to fight Aga for that.
Interesting by Kohrek. He does Lost Woods and saves and quits. This must be going straight to South Shore, going to leave Kakariko alone for now.
He may be going for the south to north route, which I've seen pay off in other races. That was more so in the Dark World, but we'll see what else we've got going on here. So we'll get a nice little bit of information divergence for right away in this early game. And a big thank you to Light of Here for the Tier 1 sub. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming.
So this divergence early doesn't usually change too much because the other runner's going to go eventually check it. But still, like if one of them were to find, say, the boots early, that's could be an interesting, like, extra 20-30 seconds one runner gains.
Or if one finds the flute in the South Shore and then comes back and just when they do Kakariko, they can just knock it out in a fell swoop. Or finding a bottle so you get Sick Kid early. But it looks like Kohrek's going in for the heading over to Agina as No Games for Old Men. Thank you for the Prime sub.
So we got a bottle. That's nice. Can check Sick Kid right away. Nothing else so far in Blind's Hut.
As Kohrek's going ahead and visiting the Desert Hermit, WillardJBradley just finding 20 in the back of the Thieves' Hut.
And let's see if Kohrek's decision pays off. Well, it paid him. I don't know if it paid off.
Certainly not paying off any loans here in Hyrule. Alright, we are into the well. We find starting off with just some bombs. It looks like Kohrek's going south yet again. I'm going to go through the rest of the South Shore before heading into Kakariko's. Willard finds another 50. Money aplenty so far in this early game, but you're going to see a lot of early money with the Expert Mode seed as we get the Flute and Bombos Medallion in Kakariko. So far, we're coming up fairly stacked.
Now, what's note with those medallions is that Willard will not be able to use those except in designated spots. He'll only be able to use it at certain spots in Ice Palace, as well as to open Mire and Turtle Rock. Beyond that, the medallions will not work.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Quake and Ether are only useful for opening doors, while the Bomb House still retains its use of clearing through Ice Palace, but only on those special squares. So we're into the mini Moldorm Cave, and it's just coming up nothing there for Kohrek.
So far I'd say early advantage Willard, but it's still small, because I gotta imagine Kohrek's gonna eventually come back through here.
As we find the magic powder for Willard there in Kakariko, still coming up with things. Nothing too massive aside from the flute. I'd say is the biggest thing we found so far.
But I would be really interested in that powder. With powder and a hammer, that's a magic bat check early.
It's really interesting to just have that one come up so early. Something that's often just lamented by most runners. And
okay.
Well, the go fast speed kit is coming in quick. So now what we need to do is find the hook shot and the magic bat, and we're just gonna get everywhere quickly. And I didn't see what was in the ice rock.
It was
cave.
Just a blue rupee.
How dare you to pour this powder upon me, awaken me from my slumber. Today I will curse thee with... lifts! We're 2/3 of the way to Dark World access, and we haven't even left Kakariko Village. We're just gonna find that Moon Pearl. What an early game from this seed. And dare I say, a Stackerico.
We still have 2 potential locations in Kakariko for that Moon Pearl to be.
Wouldn't it be something if it's in a library? Fortunately, just 10 arrows. And I didn't see what he saw when he checked the race game, but we're about to see it again.
Just a piece of heart. So no Moon Pearl in Kakariko. We know it's not on the South Shore either. But yeah, Willard's going to do the South Shore checks now. And with those boots and flute, he's going to be able to do it a little faster than Kohrek.
Every second will count, especially at this level. This is the losing 2 of the top 4 runners in the semifinals, facing it off for a little bit of glory and mostly for us to watch. Interesting that both runners decided to leave the piece of heart, but because of all the time spent to get it, you'll probably have to just let it go for now and feel bad. There's only 1 heart container, and the rest of the hearts are in pieces. Interesting, he's deciding to farm off that hoarder crab there.
So Kohrek did something interesting there. If you catch the red guy that runs away, he gives a shout out to our developers, VTorp and all the other developers who do make this randomizer possible.
Interesting. I have not seen that happen because I've never seen anyone who's accidentally caught that guy, and because knowing the developers here, those optional NPCs tend to have long bits of dialogue as punishment.
Well, that one was a little bit of a long dialogue, to be fair. And some of them...
Just watch out for that pink thing that's getting kicked around on Death Mountain.
Yeah, like some of the NPCs also make fun of people. Like, I think one of them makes fun of Andy for missing something. Another one, I think, makes fun of Christos. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but yeah. It's funny to look at. So Willard looks like he's going to check the bomb crocs, and then I think he'll probably sequence break up Death Mountain.
It would not be the worst play here. There's plenty of items available. And most importantly, just a little bit of information as he finds the Titan's mitts in the bonk rocks. So I think that just opened up. He's going over like, okay, well, I guess it's time to go do King's Tomb.
Yeah, this has been a very friendly start for both of them. We still need that Moon Pearl for Dark World access.
And so far, that's the main crux that's holding us back there as Kohrek plays the Serenade of the Swag Duck for us.
Willard's gonna do a Houlihan, actually.
Interesting to choose to do that so late, but I guess just having being pushed that direction by finding those Titan's mitts, there really wasn't a better time. If you click, and that telepathic tile there is not a hint, but just a list of our previous tournament runners. Unfortunately, neither of these two will find their way on there from this tournament, but stay tuned tomorrow as we start our finals between Andy and Thelaine, trying to figure out who gets to go on that tile next. As Kohrek's making their way through the Thieves' Hut, and Willard is...
We check the island, and we see a shovel there.
Was that a water walk setup he did, or...?
No, he didn't set the water walk up.
Oh, he's just looking at the thing. I forget.
Yeah, he just...
It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, if he was going to do a water walk setup, he'd probably flute to 8, which he might actually do after checking Saharsala. We're not surprised to see him flute to 8, check Ice Rod Cave, and set a water walk up.
Alright, and the Kakariko Village Elder is holding on to $6 and a piece of heart. Things are tough for the Village Elder. The village may not be doing so well after all. And it looks like, well, Kohrek is fluting to 5. Gonna go ahead and check Sahasrara while Willard's making his way up the mountain.
Yeah, I guess when I said this would be a sequence break earlier, I forgot. Flute makes this not a sequence break, except for the old man.
I said, had he chose to pull the old man, that, yeah, it would have been a sequence break, but his arrival upon the mountain was not. We will see here into Spectacle Rock Cave. I didn't see it was up top. That came up really fast.
That was the cape.
Hello.
And Kohrek found out the green pendant is swamp.
So Green Pendant Swamp Palace. We've got a... So the mirror is behind... The cape is behind the mirror. Interesting. And I believe that knocks off most of the overworld here. Where are we going to go next, do you think?
Well, will he grab those rupees? It makes me think he wants to do a Zora check.
He's still 20 short.
He's going to go to Ice Rod Cave. He'll be 15 short after that. And actually, if he goes... If he lifts the rock right below it, he can get 20 rupees.
All the money's right there. It's one of the lesser-known little rupee farms.
And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's going for Zora.
Yeah, go ahead and set up the... After he picks up his little bit of love here in the ice... Or that $5 from the Ice Rod Cave, he's going to go ahead and set up his water walk and make his way through as we have a lamp required seed here for logic as the old man is holding on to the moon pearl. 18 minutes in, we have Dark World access on Kohrek's side.
So that means the lamp has to be somewhere accessible right now.
So what's left to be accessible? I guess somewhere in Eastern Palace?
That's a possibility. Could be on Zora.
Interesting, so that is a rather large sequence break there for Kohrek.
But Willard's gotta be careful. These crabs do 2 hearts of damage.
Pretty much any damage he could face from the rest of this will take him out right now. Especially when he steps into the water, as there's a nice bit of safety built in by the developers of the randomizer, where if you're in a water walk or fake flipper stick and you would take damage, you would soft lock. Well, in the randomizer, you just get killed. Alright, not a whole lot there, just enough money to finish off Zora there for Willard. Watch out for that crab.
And
there's the mushroom.
The fetch quest items out in the open. You got the shovel on the island and the mushroom out in the open. You got the cape on Spectacle Rock.
Alright, and it's time to file our taxes with Zora and find out that we're getting 300 rupees on our tax return this year. Well done. So that one, but 60% rebate, not too bad. Kohrek gonna go ahead and flute to 7. Titan's mitts in hand. He's going to check out our first little bit of the Dark World here.
And what is Willard?
As we get a Quake medallion to open up Misery Mire.
Okay, Willard's going to give us
a Gina.
Yep. Willard also saw we had Ether on the desert ledge. However, the only way we would need that is if it is for Turtle Rock at this point.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see anything of note in the Mire Shed, except for a blue potion, which is just a single heart and 25% of a magic meter, but welcome nonetheless, I would think.
And Kohrek's heading to the Dark World.
And he's right next to everybody's favorite hype cave, or maybe not your favorite hype cave. It really depends on how it shakes out. We'll see what happens there.
I think Willard's going to dip into Eastern.
I mean, logically, it may point him in the right direction logically if the lamp turns up there. All right, and our hype cave so far has a little bit of a bomb refund. Our big heart container, more bombs, the fire rod, and a piece of heart. I'm going to give that a solid 7.
Yeah, that was a pretty good cave. Kohrek actually, I think, went from 3 to 5 hearts there, so it's nice for him. And he's got the ability to full clear Skullwoods at this point. Also, we got a map check. I believe Pod was... I mean, no, according to our tracker, it was Ice Palace. That was the other red crystal.
And we
knew everything else would be regular crystals, except for Swamp.
Yep, so Kohrek's going to go ahead and check out what's hanging out with Stumpy here. Sounds like Willard found himself a hoard of cash there. Stumpy having just a little bit of love, but Kohrek's getting closer and closer to having some decent amount of health. He's already gained 2 out of his 6 bonus heart containers. Definitely feels good finding that heart container in Hype Cave is find the big key for Willard. And Kohrek's going to go ahead and strike the earth 1 to 30 times to find out what Alec Baldwin's been holding on to this time.
So I do think Willard's going to find the lamp in here, because I don't think it could be anywhere else at this point. Unless he gets, like, flippers that drives him to the mushroom to find the lamp. Which would be mean.
There could be a chain as we find another little bit of love there in the dig game. Quite a number of digs to get there, but you're going to take it, and just makes it before the dialogue box appears. As we get a hint tile, and I bet you expected help, didn't you? And a big chest on Willard's side is your lamp. So there definitely is your, so there's your logical access to the old man, and I think Willard pulling out his flute is going to head right there. Yep, and he's going to wish he had done this sooner. So a slight edge to Kohrek here as he's taking the, our friend Jeremiah on quite a little bit of world tour here. Willard's gonna escort his old man and get his moon pearl as Kohrek's gonna make his way to the village of Outcasts, most likely. After, of course, he takes Jeremiah home.
Yeah, Willard's probably got to be a little mad that he missed that on his first trip up there, but he's on track now.
Alright, what kind of craftsmen do we have in... we have some net makers today.
That's a nice find in Swordless, because that's a nice item to use against Aghanim to reflect the balls back, because it's a little bit bigger of a hitbox that works.
And I definitely say it's a lot more preferable on Aga 2. And since we're in all dungeons and we're going to have to do both Aghanims, you feel good finding that. And thank you for the correction. Those should be called swagsmiths. I apologize. Unfortunately, the Lumberjack Ledge is just $20, so we're not worried about Aga 1, except for our dungeon completion at this point. Looks like Kohrek with his fire rod is going to head up to Skullwoods.
Willard went back up to Death Mountain. I'm not sure why. I don't think he's got access to anything else up here. Or did he not check the...
I bet he may be thinking Spike Cave, because he's got the cane of Burna. He doesn't have a lot of magic, though.
No, he doesn't have enough magic. I mean, he does have a potion. I guess he could do Spike Cave right now. It is in logic.
And
yeah, I guess that's what he's going for.
And the blue potion would have I believe would have full effectiveness in Spike Cave.
Yeah, both potions would have. He has a green potion and a blue potion, so...
He's going ahead and farm... finds his fairy there, so he's going ahead and grab Spike Cave now while he's got everything for it.
I mean, this is an interesting call. If you find something here, advantage him. And having those boots also helps with the magic consumption a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. This will be a nice quick check. Hopefully it pays off for him, and it just gives him $20. And he's going to go ahead and hard reset it.
Yeah, he did the hard resets. That'll save his blue potion for later.
Definitely, I would say a good call. Considering the amount of things he had to invest there. Looks like Kohrek took a death, but I'm not sure if that was intentional or not.
It looked like it was to maybe recover his health.
Wouldn't blame him for that. Alright, so he's gonna head on back to the Moth. I did not see anything of note thus far in Skullwoods.
I know he got a rupee drop, that's all I saw.
See, and first he gets bullied by the mini Moldorm there.
That is a mean mini Moldorm.
I have not seen that RNG before. That is an interesting one. So Kohrek's gonna go head this through the intended route, just so he can get himself a little bit of magic and heart refill. Trying to decide how he wants to deal with this room. Nobody likes Gibdos.
You could just use the fire rod to burn them, but he might be wanting to keep his magic for Mothula.
Definitely cannot blame him for that. The fire rod moth fight isn't the most fun, and as he unfortunately throws one into the wall there. Maybe a failed rod dash.
Well, Willard's gonna do a peg game. Did we see this on Kohrek's side?
No, he just turned in the Smiths and then went into Skullwoods.
But here's Kohrek doing the Mothula fight.
See how this one goes. So far, he's off to a great start. Has to be careful not to send those fire rod shots into the spikes, and that's the bow and hammer pegs.
That is a nice pickup for Willard. That lets him complete Eastern, though he only has to get the crystal at this point. It also lets him full clear pod.
Kohrek's getting bullied around here by the moth and the spikes. That's his final fire rod shot, so it's all hammer from here. And who likes hammering moths? I sure don't. If only the bug net worked on him.
That would be an interesting weakness. Oh, he's got to be careful. Okay.
And gets it with his final heart there. And gets rewarded with just the map, but his first crystal at 29 minutes. A close but clutch fight for Kohrek there. One can only hope if you're a Kohrek fan that he makes his way to the hammer pegs relatively soon, which I would probably see happening once he gets done here. I would imagine going through the Village of Outcasts is probably next on his list. Willard's going to make his way north. He's likely going to pick up Jeremiah if I had to wager a guess. Yep. So far, a lot to be found from this seed. Not too much given to us except for the Dark World access. As Kohrek now gets a fetch quest, courtesy of that chest there. He's going to go ahead and take a few Gibdo hugs and head on over to pick up the big chest.
So, taking a quick stock where we're at, we've got the ability to clear Eastern and Pod. Swamp's still locked by quite a few things. Skull Woods we can clear, Thieves Town we can clear. Ice Palace we can potentially clear. Maybe not fully in logic, but it is clearable.
It is a sequence break, but we got all the other pieces of the puzzle. We just need those flippers. I would say the Pod Eastern combo is probably what calls out to me as the most logical play, as Willard's going to go ahead and pick up his Fire Rod here from the Hype Cave. Which is, as far as sheer volume goes, you can't go wrong with going through both Eastern and Pod as he gets a small key for his troubles. Did he not pick up a chest earlier? I guess it's this one.
I don't think he came into the fronts early. So it looks like it's going to be the last chest he checks for
Our
the second item in.
And it's just a big 20. Alright, so that's Skullwood's netting nothing more than the crystal that we get, the crystal prize, but Kohrek's going to find a few things here in the village, most importantly his bow, but he's going right first.
I think Willard forgot he had flute for a minute.
I think Kohrek's... Oh, I see. Kohrek's here making use of his no better time to check the bumper ledge to find out that it's just a big fiver, so that Cape's so far giving us nothing except for the logical access to Aghanim later in the seed, just for the goal at this point.
Kohrek tried to avoid it, but got hit. He's at 1 heart. Definitely do not want to take a death in the village.
And definitely never feels good. As Willard decides to visit the race game for a second. He's going back in. He's gonna go pick up that piece of heart. As Kohrek's heading into Thieves Town. I don't believe we've seen any of these checks yet, and we get the big key right off the bat. It looks like that may have been an intentional hug. Second chest is our big 20. Willard's heading back into the Dark World. Where do you think he's going to next, JP?
Looks like he's going to go to Thieves Town as well.
Seems like the play du jour. Gotta love those hammer hitboxes. As we find our 3rd bottle already in this scene. Another red potion. That's a single heart, but you'll take it. I would imagine probably Pod Eastern would be coming up after this, wouldn't you agree?
Well,
or maybe
potentially
one of
for
them?
Kohrek if he gets that bow, assuming he gets that bow. For Willard, he's got to probably do Skullwoods next, and then he'd do Pod Eastern.
That definitely makes sense. Given that each runner has about half of the piece of that information. So far, we get a pretty close race, folks. See what Thieves Town is holding on to for us today. As we make our way through the Hellway, which is not much fun without a sword, or just in general.
They do have powder for the anti-fairies, at least. Powder will turn the anti-fairies into hearts in this mode.
one of these days, I want to see a race of the insane mode where powdering an anti-fairy turns them into a bee. Hints are active. Unfortunately, they've all come up green so far.
Yes, there is no change in the hint system based on difficulty. You'll have the same spread of hints no matter what. So if it looks like they are getting more green than usual, it's just because the randomizer put more joke hints in than usual.
As we get the map. So nothing so far in Thieves Town. Alright, Kohrek's making his way deeper in to rescue the maiden and see what we're holding on to. Have not found the small key yet. So if we don't find it from the maiden, we're not going to be visiting that big key chest.
Willard left the room a second too early and the floor didn't blow up.
Feels bad. You try to be fast, but sometimes you're just a little too fast. And look, it looks like we're heading into the big key room. And the big chest has just our Fisher Price and my first shield. Your plastic collectible dinner plate, if you will. The only shield that we're going to be able to hold in this game, not that it really matters to these runners.
Well, there is a little, I don't know if I call it a bug, but there is the potential to get the red shields. While you can't get in the item pool, it is still available for purchase at 500 rupees if the runners really want it, and I have seen Willard do that at times.
I mean, I suppose it would make, like, the blind fight easier, but they're gonna complete that before that happens. Kohrek so far keeping him relatively tightly on script. Down to 2 hearts, though. Gonna go ahead and take his red potion so we can take one more hit here.
And there's that hit that he could take.
Well, he could still take a fireball here, but anything else will kill him.
Ooh. Oh!
I think that hitbox was just, like, barely mistimed.
And here's Willard doing the fight. Let's see how he fares. He has 1 extra heart compared to Kohrek.
Oh, Hammer Blind, how fun are thee? Now, I wouldn't know. Maybe the lag he doesn't want to deal with? As Willard makes that fight beautifully. I mean, Blind does take damage from the Cane of Burna. It's a little more. I mean, you don't get the invincibility anymore, but the hits are a little bit easier to do, I would think.
And Kohrek takes a second death on blinds. And he's just going to come back later. He knows that the blind just has a dungeon item. He'll come back later for it.
Kohrek's going to go ahead and clean up the rest of the village of outcasts. Willard is heading up to check the bumper ledge, and he'll probably head into Skull Woods. So as we make some recursive checks here, please, if you have not already done so, please give these runners a follow on Twitch. They're putting themselves out there through one slog of a long tournament. We started this back in October between 200 plus runners, and now we're down to the final 2 and these guys fighting it out for 3rd place. So show them a little bit of love.
And Kohrek is going towards the hammer peg, so he will get his bow.
Alright, so Kohrek will have to come back for Blind the Thief at some point. I wouldn't be surprised to have him come back after he finds the Cane of Samaria. I think that would probably be his preferred method at this point, or at least having a few more hearts to his name. And that is correct, for those in chat. Item hammer dashing doesn't work without a sword. We're not really sure why. As Kohrek takes the heal from the old man, then almost leaves his chest behind. The purple chest is one of the more fickle followers in the game.
I think the reason that the hammer dash doesn't work without a sword is because when you're hammer dashing, I think it essentially the hammer is considered in the sword's hitbox. So no sword means no hammer hitbox there.
Interesting. That's about what I think it would be, but as we find just 20 bucks inside the purple chest. Kohrek heading up the mountain now. Gonna go. He has access to a few more things here.
Or
does he? No, he doesn't.
Does Spike Cave? He might be doing that check too.
So he has a magic cape on top as Willard is getting head on into Skullwoods. Alright, Kohrek's making their way through Spike Cave here. Will be disappointed when he finds at the end of the rainbow. Alright, we're gonna save and quit out. Kohrek, where are you heading next?
Let's see. He's got his flute out. Let's see where he flutes.
And he's heading
five.
to 5.
That makes sense. He's gonna do pod first, though.
Well, I don't disagree with this because he already has the stuff from Sahasrara. And he's changed his mind.
It might be because he took that hit. Doesn't want to lose too much health.
As Willard makes excellent quick work of the moth there. I barely saw that fight happen.
Oh, he's going to the witch. He's gonna pick up potions.
And he has not visited Zora yet. It's an interesting choice to spend his money early.
He still does have the option for a Houlihan if he ever decides to take it. And okay, now he's gonna go do Eastern first, which is a smart move. He'll get a lamp, which will help him out in pod.
A lot easier.
And Willard's following suit. Willard's also gonna go to do Eastern first, but Willard just needs to kill Armos at this point.
Yeah, Kohrek's gonna have to go through the whole thing. I'd say the big difference so far in this race would be Kohrek's inability to take care of Blind the Thief with that hammer fight.
Yeah, I would say Kohrek had an early advantage by getting the Moon Pearl earlier, but he lost it when he couldn't handle with that blind fight.
And I'd say darn close to finishing off that first attempt.
And I'd say because of that, at this point, I'd give Willard a slight advantage, but it's not much.
And there's still a lot of randomizer to see. We'll see what happens after we clear through Eastern and Palace of Darkness, where the seed will potentially point us if it leaves us with a choice or not afterward.
I gotta think we'll find something, though. As I said earlier, Ice Palace is available. And actually, interesting to note, Eastern and Ice being our red crystals, that means Pyramid Fairy's in play too.
We're pretty close to it. We're still missing the flippers for full logical access, but
that is true. It would be a sequence break to do Ice right now.
I would personally like to see flippers come out of this combo, and then we're left with the decision of, do we do Ice or do we do Swamp without the hook shot, and then say the hook shot's hidden inside?
Well, we would still need Mirror for Swamp.
True. I would just like to see some access to divergence after we get done with this combination. That was an interesting bit of sound.
Willard likes to do those little fun things in seeds, though I don't think that one was intentional.
And you better not blink here, you're gonna miss this Armos fight from Willard here. And perfect. Quick kill strats, gets his compass. And we get to listen to the flute during the fanfare.
Now, to answer a quick question in chat, yes, this is all dungeons. It's technically possible for progression for pendant dungeons to be in Ganon's tower.
And it really well could with the Swamp Palace being the green pendant. Interesting bit of early logic to see here, but we'll see what the Palace of Darkness is holding on to, as Kohrek seems to have lost control of the Armos fight. He's gonna get that heal from there.
If we want to keep an eye on that, I believe logically both the hookshot and the mirror could be in GT. Hookshot partially depends on how Ice Palace is laid out.
I said there is a set of key logic where Ice Palace does not require the hookshot, but then I think then at that point it probably needs to require Kane.
Though we will find Kane outside of GT. We know that much.
100% we're gonna find Kane outside of GT, but it could be on the pedestal. It would kill the other side of it, but it's an interesting little bit of entertaining lot. There's a lot of things we can hypothesize. There's a lot to be seen yet in this seed. We're only 47 minutes in. It's expert. It's all dungeons. There's a lot of game left to be played here.
One other little piece of information we can get from that first chest of pod. This is bow locked.
But both runners are coming in with the bow, so no need to worry about that. Good to know that they will not have to burn any potions, though, having found the bow, so don't have to worry about doing any potion glitching. And we find out that there's some bombs in Paradox Cave. Thanks?
Well, it's one of the 7 chests there. We actually have not been up there yet, because we do not have access to Eastern Death Mountain yet.
Yep, our first non-joke hint to the game, and it tells us there's some bombs somewhere. As well, it gets a nice little bit of God Pixel there. 2 more chests up here. What are we gonna find?
Most likely just 2 small keys.
All the keys, all the time, because this is the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, and between the front 6 chests, these 2 on the right plus the other 4, between the arena and all that, there has to always be 4 small keys. And since Willard found a map in one of them, then 4 of these 5 have to have small keys. And since
Really the Palace of Darkness, or is it the Palace of Keys?
I think both apply. Since Willard's gotten 3 keys, he's going to go ahead and check this chest. He knows that there's a possibility this might be a non-key.
Definitely good at this level to have a really breath. Hello, that's definitely something. We've got flippers.
Well, now Ice Palace is logically available.
Well, and that also puts our mushroom into logic, hanging way out on Zora Ledge. I would think Kohrek is gonna find that before Willard, pick that up before Willard will, because Willard's already been up to King Zora. Kohrek has not. And Kohrek just barely missing the bomb hit there. Alright, so what do we got hanging out here between the our little terrapin room? There's our big key. Head on through the dark room. Hopefully there's something here to find, something else that'll send us... I'd like to see something that would give us a choice.
Well, with 2 keys down there, that means the chest in the Harmless Hellway will not have a key in it. Or it might, but... Actually, no, it will not. It can't have a key at this point.
And a big thank you to ALXHML with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming. Your support helps keep the lights keeps the lights on here.
That was a Quake medallion that Willard found. So we can enter Mire now, but we still can't complete it.
Well, we can get everything except for what Vitreous is holding with the boots.
And there's a big weight off their shoulders. That's Silver's. Silver's in Swordless is almost 100% required. You technically can beat Ganon without him, but it's not recommended.
I certainly wouldn't attempt it. Wouldn't 0 out of 10 or negative 20 out of 10 would not suggest. And we have found our 4th bottle of this seed, JP. That's not often you see that many bottles that early.
Now they can fill all those bottles up if they want to. Get a full magic meter.
Yeah, if you drink all 4 of those, you'll get a full magic meter. Welcome to expert mode. Willard's going to pick up his hearts here and then make his way over to King Helmasaur. We'll see what they're holding on to. If I'm counting correctly, that should be the final item on the Helmasaur King.
Yeah, I believe so. We'll see what's there. As of right now, the only thing they've really found in here... Well, they found Flippers and Quake. So that's somewhat of a choice. But I still think... As much as you hate doing ice, I think that's the better play.
I think one of the things that could prove Crux, depending on what the mushroom turn-in ends up being. If the mushroom turn-in is an item, I think Kohrek is going to find that one first.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Kohrek could elect to do overworld checks after this. I see Willard more likely to dive a dungeon.
Well, with Ice Palace fully completable, I mean, going there next would probably feel good. I mean, it still sucks, but... The hook shot lit, so no hook shot, no Cane Ice Palace.
It's ugly, but it's doable.
Especially when you're at the level of these 2 runners.
I think the bigger concern for these might be that cold stare fight, but I think so far Willard's been a little more confident with his bosses than Kohrek has been.
Oh no, I would definitely agree that the swordless boss fights have been monumentously clean from Willard today. You can definitely see why he chose swordless, as this was Willard's pick.
Willard's got the mask off, gonna fire 8 arrows.
And if the Helmasaur King was kind enough to give him a couple nice little bit of tail cycles there for him. So what is our king holding on to today? 3 bombs. 5, 6 crystal in hand. We're heading off somewhere next. But where to? That is the question. Correction, that is a regular crystal. It was Eastern, the 5-6. The other 5-6 is ice. Durr.
So Willard's starting at the usual place with flute. We'll see where he flutes to.
Myers also an option. Non-completable, but has 2 items.
He's going ice. It's 3 items plus 3 hints. So ice has a lot more value right now than Meyer does.
Information is key in Randomizer. I think the implementation of the hint system was probably one of the best additions to the Randomizer itself, as we find that that's a bad example, as that's just cached in Mimic Cave. I mean, it will save time, but it's not monumentous.
Well, that's part of what's nice about this hint system is those little time saves. Mimic Cave is one that's typically one you're not as worried about, but that's a check you don't have to make now.
Yeah, that's 2 mirror transitions and a couple loading zones you don't have to hit anymore. Doesn't quite get the bomb setups on the pen gators, though. Looks like Kohrek's gonna go ahead and start doing his overworld checks as we see the shovel hanging out on the floating island, so more partially inaccessible fetch quests.
Now, Kohrek's making a check we have not seen. We have not seen the hobo yet.
Curious to see what this ends up being. Alright, we hold up to this guy and we get just a $20. Thanks for the visit, kid. Wanna go get me a pack of smokes?
And there's a joke hint for the second. And let's see, I'm guessing Kohrek's gonna take that portal. Yep. So yeah, he'll see that mushroom and he'll likely pick it up, and we'll see what he does. I gotta imagine he'll turn that in right away.
I could say you're set up in probably the best position to go just immediately turn that in. Or perhaps you save and quit after. It depends on what you think is faster. As Willard cleanly pulls off the bomb jump, and we get our free bottle fill being bees. Who doesn't like free bees? There's a few more pen gators fall for Willard, as Kohrek's going to go ahead and get his 60% tax rebate from the King of all scams.
And Willard uses that Cane of Burna for invincibility. One of the few rooms it still does grant invincibility in.
Alright, a mushroom pickup for Kohrek. He's gonna save and quit, but he can always just flute to 2 to turn it in.
Yeah, this is a potentially big moment. If this mushroom is anything, Kohrek gains a big advantage.
Alright, and what do we get for a mushroom today? The Book of Medora.
Okay, that's interesting. Not necessarily a huge advantage yet, because you could potentially get around that requirement. It depends on what that book is guarding.
Now, it can't be guarding progression via the tablets, however, that's our access to Desert Palace.
Oh, unique item in desert Willard just found.
Oh no. If that unique item comes up huge, then Kohrek's heading straight for it, and he doesn't have the hint from Ice Palace, but given the book and you have access, you might as well just go straight for it.
Well, there is a quick correction.
Oh,
because
yes,
this is swordless, the tablets could have progression.
I love logic bugs. So you find the bloomerang there for Willard in Ice Palace. Nothing there for him so far.
So for Kohrek, if he finds the mirror in here, this is huge. Anything else, we'd have to wait and see where that mirror is.
Well, we're gonna have to keep waiting because we just found the small key so far. And the mushroom was hanging on Zora Ledge. Willard did not have access to it when he went to visit King Zora, choosing to sequence break it. I mean, Zora was in sequence, but his visit wasn't.
I believe Willard's gotten all the items out of here. So he's going straight for a cold stare at this point, picking up a couple refills first. He does have bombos, so he can use bombos on cold stare to break the shell, and then he'll have some fire rod shots to work with, which will help in this fight.
Most definitely. Alright, so Kohrek, so far, just has the big key. We'll see what's hanging out on the torch. That's $20. That's not our unique item. We know that there's a unique item in the tavern. We found that out a long time ago, but thank you. This Homer goes for a spin and lets fire loose. And that's the Cane of Samaria.
Okay, that's not necessarily terrible. That's a good find for Willard, or for Kohrek. Not necessarily terrible for Willard, because it depends on where that mirror is.
I mean, if the mirror is locked behind the cane, that puts a nail in it until Willard turns in that mushroom.
Yeah, exactly. We have to basically know if the cane locks the mirror. That's huge for Kohrek. If it doesn't, then Willard's probably still fine.
All right, so that's both items out of Desert Palace, and nothing to be found in ice. What's left for Willard to check at this point?
He could dip into the front of Meyer. That is a possibility.
Well, he's starting at the mountain. Where is he going to go with his flute? That's the question. Well, he does have access to Pyramid Fairy.
Yep, he does. Just get access to Pyramid Fairy. That is another possibility.
But he's heading to the village first.
Maybe Purple Chest?
Don't believe he did that. I think it was just Kohrek that did that. And thinking of locations he still check, he hasn't done. Nobody's been to Pyramid. No one's been to Catfish. As Kohrek makes quick and easy work of land molas. Well done. He's going to be awarded with his second pendant, or with his first pendant. Alright, so Willard's going ahead and save and quit. He's got the flute in hand. Gonna go ahead and turn in the purple chest, and then it just really comes down to what's left for him to check after that.
Kohrek's taking that cane going straight to Meyer.
I mean, it's now completable. I don't blame him for that move at all. And Willard gets his $20 tip for bringing back his lunch. Willard's fluting to 4 here.
So I imagine at this point he's going to do Pyramid Fairy. He can check the Pyramid Ledge while he's there. We have not seen that yet. Then he can go to Catfish. Right, unfortunately, without the mirror, he can't mirror from Catfish to go back to Zora.
So it's going to isolate it even more, but it's a save and quit and a flute to 2 to get back there. So it's not the worst. It's just a pain in the you-know-what. Interesting to keep hypothesizing what could be out there. I mean, looking at our items, we're still looking for the ice rod. We still need the hook shot. And we also still need the ice rod, the hook shot, the mirror, and potentially ether if it is the coin we need to get into.
Well, we do know where ether is. It is on the desert ledge.
And Kohrek picked it up. I remember him running down there after visiting while he was visiting desert. All right, so what is the Pyramid Fairy going to hang on to now? All right, so what's on the pyramid ledge right now? 3 bombs. The hook shot.
There's another big item for Willard. So we're still kind of not sure.
We're still sitting not sure where things lie. But that also potentially points him into dipping mire. But it also that opened up a lot more overworld checks. Now he has.
Yeah, that basically opened up all of Death Mountain.
That's Mountain, that's Hera, and there's so much that's just open to Willard that's pulls him even further away from his access to the Cane of Samaria, unless the mirror comes up on the mountain.
I mean, the only good news for Willard is that he can't dip Turtle Rock without the cane, so... If that book is locking progression, or the mushroom is locking progression, then it's not... He's not going to waste too much time, hopefully. But let's see what Catfish has.
The shroom is on the Zora ledge, for those asking, and the other fish gives us 10 arrows, which Willard, I guess, decides he needs. And he knows where the shroom is, but it's just wondering when he chooses to check it. Now he's on the mountain, he's going to do all these checks. Looking through a pedestal, maybe alive. I mean, it could be holding onto the ice rod. Ganon's tower doesn't look to be holding anything for progression right now. Unless GT...
The only thing GT really could have at this point is the mirror.
And wouldn't that be interesting? So far, Mire not showing up too much yet. Just some arrows there for Willard so far in Paradox Cave. Feels good having a hookshot now to deal with those minimal alarms. 20 rupees, 20 rupees, 20 rupees. The bombs that we were foretold upon, and 100 bucks. Nothing so far on the mountain. The hookshot was on the Pyramid Fairy, for those asking. Which Kohrek would have to complete Ice Palace for. But I imagine it's probably on his list in the near future with the Cane of Samaria. As we get the hint about the purple chest after both runners have already turned it in. We get a piece of heart on the floating island.
I think Willard was thinking about going straight to Dark World, but remembered he should do Hera first because he has no mirror. Another thing that Willard's going to have to isolate at this point is that ether tablet. Since he doesn't have the book, he can't check it. Oh, I don't think that was an intentional death by Kohrek.
I would sincerely doubt it. As we get the small key on Willard's side, so it's looking likely we have a coffee break in our future. Go to the next room.
And I haven't been paying full attention on Kohrek's side, but I don't think he found anything. Chat's just saying he found cash. So far, maybe that cane's not paying off. But we still have more to check that is locked by it.
I mean, the mirror could still be in Turtle Rock, right?
Yeah, it could be. And Willard's got one item out of Tower of Hera. He found the... what did he find? Sorry, he found 10 bombs.
He found Uncle Bombs. Kohrek's on his way to that swordless Vitreous fight.
Alright, well, it'll get the big key down here, and then he'll likely take a death.
Takes his magic refill now.
Nope, never mind.
Or he's taking
no.
I think he's taking the more reliable death in the Moldorms. I think the Moldorms do more damage, but it could be wrong.
Yeah, I think the Moldorms do 1 heart versus the Skeletons half heart.
Taking care of the hard hat beetles here. Keep climbing up there.
And we got Kohrek, he's about to come on the Vitreous fight, which... This could be a bit ugly. Vitreous is tough and expert.
He does have his full bevy of arrows. He'll go in with full health and a full magic meter.
And Willard found the second item in Hera, so you just gotta go kill Moldorm now.
He's going with some bomb strats. Definitely can't blame Kohrek for this one, as he takes a lightning strike.
Yeah, Kohrek using those bombs. Gotta be a little careful now.
And the Vitreous lightning is one of the more unpredictable things.
Switching to arrows. Wants to save...
Independent for Willard.
He wants to save... Kohrek wants to save 8 arrows for the main eyeball of Vitreous, so he's got to be a little cautious with his usage.
He missed a shot there. Alright, he's got 10 arrows here out of the 8 for the 8 he needs. So down goes the eyeball, and that was a nice, safe, and clean Vitreous fight for Kohrek. Gets the compass, so far Samaria isn't paying off yet, but there's still Turtle Rock ahead of us.
Yeah. So for Kohrek, his next move, he needs to go to Ice Palace. Finish that so he can get that hook shot. And he's running out of spots to check anyway, so he's pretty much going to get funneled into Ice Palace.
I would say he has a little bit better of a go at Ice Palace with the Cane of Samaria. He won't have to do as much of the puzzle. Alright, we find nothing in Spiral Cave, so... Willard's now going to start working on the dark side of Death Mountain, or...
He's going to take the portal at Turtle Rock, so if he can open Turtle Rock, he will. It's a good way to do it, just in case he finds Kane up here, he can go straight into Turtle Rock.
That definitely makes sense, and thank you, Frost D. Manberries, for the tier 1 sub. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming.
Kohrek taking this portal. What's his plan? Oh, he might be going back for blind now.
Yeah, I think now it's time to go back for blind. He's got Cane of Samaria in hand, so we'll a little bit as we get the Ether Medallion for... We get Ether for Turtle Rock, so that means Willard can't because that's on Desert Ledge, which as of right now is only accessible via that book, which is from the mushroom.
We still need to find that mirror before we know if that book is 100% required.
Bombs, just nothing coming up in Hookshot Cave, and we got money now.
He's got plenty of potion money.
Maybe I got your money. Don't you worry. This blind is not quite cooperating with the Samaria shots.
Alright, 2 more items down here for Willard. There's the mirror! So, that mushroom is not going to hurt Willard at all. and he knows. Well, this is interesting. He knows that desert has a unique item, but looks like he's gonna go for swamp.
Well, swamp is closer. Just go ahead and knock it out of the way, and then head to desert afterward.
That is a good point.
Now,
I guess the book is still not fully taken out yet.
if the
Because
tablet's holding onto the ice rod. The tablet's holding onto the ice rod. We've got something here. Because if right now the ice rod is the only progression item that's eluding us for having go mode between these two runners.
he just checked the cave south of the grove.
Now he's heading over to
And-
desert.
Yeah, he knows unique item in deserts. He also knows the ether medallion's over here, so he can grab the ether medallion. He'll find his cane. Most likely go straight into Mire after that.
The Book of Medora is the mushroom turn-in. The mushroom is on Zora Ledge. Willard did not have access to Zora Ledge when he decided to visit that area. Because this is a swordless seed, the logic bug does not apply. Swordless takes out the conventional logic problem that we have.
Willard's going into Mire first. No. Okay, I see what he's doing. Never mind. He's gonna open
opening
Mire, but he's not going in. He's gonna mirror and go into desert.
He's already on the space. There's no reason not to just open the door while you're there. Alright, so Willard's gonna make their way through the desert palace. We know the only thing that's really holding on to is the ether medallion.
Well, Ether and Kane.
Of course, cane. How could I forget the cane? It was so important. As he gets his also useless hint.
And meanwhile, Kohrek's going through Ice Palace. We know he won't find anything in here, but he needs to complete this to get access to Pyramid Fairy for Hookshot. And yeah, at this point, looking at where everybody is, I feel like Willard's ahead, but if the ice rod's on a tablet, Kohrek's got a pretty big advantage.
We have what we have here is a large question mark. Willard definitely ahead on the execution side, while Kohrek has a little bit more on the information side. Though a lot of that item is a lot of what we have is a question mark. He'll get it. He has to get his hook shot from the Pyramid Fairy, and then get his mirror from Super Money Cave before he can even check the tablet on the south side, which I believe is Bombos.
And Willard's got his cane, and this kind of actually works out really well for him. He can just go right into Mire now, and then after Mire, he can go through the other door on the left, grab his ether medallion, and finish off desert.
So as soon as each of these guys, after we get through this, Kohrek's still going to be up a boss kill, but that'll be a quick one because it's just going back to fight the Land Molus. So they're going to be set it even well, but Kohrek will have to do some more overworld checking to get that item. What really comes down to is, of course, everyone's favorite question: where in the name of Din, Furor, and Nehru is the ice rod?
That was an interesting way to put it. I like it.
Just keeping my lore up to date. If it's in Swamp Palace or Turtle Rock, you're feeling good for Willard. If it's on a tablet, GG. As Kohrek gets his cane hint, though he's already holding on to it.
I'm not actually even sure if I'd call it GG at this point.
It
depends on.
bad.
Yeah.
Because there could be a lot of dungeon diving before and he finds it. And there could be a blind pedestal pull before that happens.
Yeah, pedestal is in logic at this point, with Swamp being completable. And actually, Saharsla could also be holding on to that ice rod.
Yeah, we do have the green pendant available. We'll see what happens as we make our way in through after we complete these dungeons we've already seen. If you haven't already given these guys a follow, please do so. This has been tough. Nothing, a little bit of expert swordless action to really put how tough this game can be into progression. Or into progression, but...
Minor note here, Kohrek didn't bomb jump, which is very interesting. Maybe it was just to save some health. I think he's only still at 5 hearts.
He is still at 5 hearts, and he's got the cane. So it's not a big a deal if he skips the bomb jump.
Potentially a little bit longer, but yeah, not a huge issue.
I have to feel that you can definitely feel the difference in comfort between these two runners when it comes to swordless. Kohrek taking extra time to get these extra bits of safety.
Yeah, Cold Stare is definitely not a good boss here. Kohrek doesn't even have much magic for fire rod shots, so he's got to basically rely on that hammer, which is a very scary fight.
So far, he's keeping his puffs in control. Just has to deal with the.
He's already down to 1 hit.
That's a Cold Stare hug, and he's got no. Ooh, wait, he does have a blue potion. That opened up. He has 2 blue potions.
Plenty of blue potions.
He's not messing around when it comes to safeties right now.
Now he still can't take another Cold Stare hug.
No, but he has more magic to work with. And that's 2 puffs in 1 shot. Well done. He's gonna dip his last potion so he has more fire rod shots and doesn't have to worry about getting hugged anymore. That's the end of Cold Stare. Safety galore paying off for Kohrek. There's his compass, and he's out of here.
Yeah, there's a lot of potion usage, but he did get through it, and that's probably a big thing. Sometimes, if you have a safety and don't use it and you take a death, that's pretty painful.
And a death, especially in a death on Cold Stare, because that's a lot of dungeon between you and a refight. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and grab his big bomb. He'll have the hook shot, head up to the mountain. I guess the real question is, where do you head next? Probably if you're Willard's side, Swamp Palace is first on your list.
Yeah, for Willard, I expect he'll dip Swamp next. Well, finish Desert, then dip Swamp. For Kohrek, I expect him when he grabs this hook shot to go up and do Hera, and then I think he'll dip Turtle Rock.
A lot of interesting questions posed behind us, as of course, the big one being, where is that cold rod?
And Willard took a hit from one of the eyeballs, so he's going to play it a little safe. I don't know why he had powder out. I think that was a missed menu.
I think he actually dropped a bomb as well.
Gonna stick some pins in the eyes.
Just watch out for that lightning.
Oh, no!
And that's a death on Vitreous. And looks like Willard's gonna walk away in shame here and take care of Landmo first.
Yeah, he'll get a full health refill from this. He also knows Vitreous is not holding on to anything. So, this is similar to Kohrek when he died to blind. He can just come back later.
And looks like Kohrek's gonna check a second free bottle. Is it different per fairy, or is it the same? It's the same.
Well, it is the same in this seed. The fountains are independent, so they can be different, but in that case, they happen to be the same.
Bees? Who wants bees? We did get a Mimic Cave hint, indeed. So Kohrek's looting to 2. He's gonna go pick up a few more potions, it looks like.
Well, he only can pick up one more blue. Yeah, he's gonna pick up a green.
No.
He is
2
low
greens.
on money.
And I think he's already gotten his big rupee stashes. So Kohrek's heading up the mountain to go through Super Bunny and all the other west side or the east side checks. Guess it really comes down to is where does Kohrek go next? Do they go Swamp Palace or do they go Turtle Rock and search for everyone's favorite ice rod?
Ooh, Kohrek's got to dance. He's down to a heart.
Dancing around the rocks as Willard is. I blinked and I missed that Landmo fight. Kohrek is currently trapped.
Ouch. That's
annoying.
Yeah.
And then he grabs the wrong location from the save and quit.
So Willard is going back. Willard's going back in here. He might be just grabbing some arrows and bombs.
Good use of game knowledge. He should have checked this already. He's going for the arrow refill. Good use of the game knowledge there to make sure he has arrows to work with, because he's going to go back into the Vitreous fight.
No, he's got the flute out.
Maybe he's going to Swamp.
Yeah, I think he's kind of at the point of...
Back to the village.
He's going to pick up bombs. He might go right back to the Vitreous then.
Yeah, go ahead and pick up his refill here. And a red potion, too.
Might have just go ahead and spent the extra 10 rupees, get that extra heart, but his choice.
I'm sure there's a free heart between him and There's at least one heart there between him and Vitreous.
Well, the anti-fairies at a minimum.
For those asking, Willard took a death on Vitreous and is going in for a round 2.
Had to avoid that murder dactyl.
Everybody loves murder dactyls. Alright, Kohrek's making their way up the mountain here. They'll likely find their mirror. The real question is, where do they go next to find the ice rod?
Well, he's gonna go to Hera.
That too.
Or is he? Nope, there he goes.
He was thinking about it. It's like, wait, do I go this way? Do I go that way? I gotta go this way. Now that does open up one of our first big question marks. Is the ice rod on this tablet? But I think he's gonna go there first after he gets bonked by Dead Rock.
Yeah, this is a big moment. What's on Ether?
Question mark number 1 being answered. We hold nothing to the sky, and what falls to the... That's the ice rod!
Oh, wow!
1 hour 20... No, he still has to find the mirror, but that just about puts the nail in Willard until he finds So for those who needs to know, the book is on the mushroom. The mushroom is on Zora Ledge, which Willard did not have access to when he went to King Zora.
And it's going to take Willard a long time to get that.
I think
He's
that
most
is
likely
pretty much a last location for him.
It is. He's going to dip Swamp. He's going to dip Turtle Rock. I don't see him going back for that mushroom for a long time.
One of those times, well, what I find, this brings up an interesting little bit of a situation in my mind. Early game, the sequence break paid off for Kohrek grabbing the Moon Pearl out of the Old Man, which was out of logic. Willard used a fake flipper trick to get himself into the Waterfall Ferry, and then used the Water Walk to get to King Zora, which is the sequence break, which is now costing Willard. It is interesting to see how sequence breaking can both hurt, or help and harm you in the same seed, just in this 2 examples in the same seed. And for those of you confused as to how is there progression on the tablets, well, being that this is swordless, we don't have the same progression blocks that we would in a regular seed. As Kohrek took a death, but I think that was the Death Warp in Hera. This brings up just an interesting little bit of an example of the many, many things that Kohrek, or that sequence breaking and randomizer himself can present to us just in the single seed between 2 different players playing the exact same seed. Definitely shoutouts to the Magics in chat, just kind of explaining what the bug we're discussing. The swords were removed from the advancement, so really only one sword is in there for logic for progression. It just causes a whole bunch of cascading things, which leads to the tablets not being able to hold progression in a sorted seed, but this is swordless, and it changes the situation around.
So Kohrek's going to do his Moldorm fight. Ouch.
And he gets bumped because Trolldorm. So Willard's going to head into Swamp Palace. He's going to clear this whole thing. After Kohrek eventually kills Moldorm, I think he
This is his third
he has a potion.
Well, let's say his third shot's going to be his last, unless he gets another heart.
He has a potion on him. Moldorm's a jerk, you guys.
Got a hint to at least eliminate one location. It's not Graveyard Ledge.
Which we have not yet seen. And there we go. Down goes Trolldorm for Kohrek. Alright, that's his pendant held aloft to the sky. He now what he needs to do is make his way over to the Dark World and pick up the mirror, which is inside the Super Bunny Cave. But I imagine that and Turtle Rock are probably next on his list, because he's got the Ice Rod.
Yeah, and once he picks up that mirror in Super Bunny Cave, he's in go mode.
Oh, Dead Rocks. Almost Dead Rocked himself there. Dead Rocks are just annoying. Alright,
okay. Go ahead.
Senator Jesse is cracking open with the Ether Medallion. Imagine probably just going to go ahead and clear Turtle Rock right now.
Kind of going back to this whole sequence, we were saying earlier that the mirror being locked behind the cane was going to hurt Willard. It ended up hurting him more just because of it wasn't the mirror was blocking, but the ice rod. Because now Willard's going to have a full Turtle Rock to check before he's going to go find it.
It definitely just sees like how different items unlock different things, and how chains could end up hurting or helping a run.
Now, Kohrek didn't go to Super Bunny Cave first, so he's going to full clear Turtle Rock, which really isn't much different than Go Mode. So
the only thing is he could potentially skip Laser Bridge or the vanilla Big Key location, depending on how the keys lay out.
He did get a hint that there's a piece of heart in Super Bunny Cave, but I doubt that's going to stop him from checking it.
Oh no, he's still trying to find the magic mirror, so he's going to check everything, and it just makes sense, I guess, without any knowledge, it makes sense to go through and clear Turtle Rock first. We know it's the slightly non-ideal play, but that roller took him out, but that may have been intentional. And Willard's taking an interesting little bit of route here. Does part of the back side, and then decides, you know what, I'm just going to go left side.
Well, he did just find the map. I don't know if he also found the compass in that one of those chests in the back. If he did, this makes a lot of sense because he now knows there's 2 items on the left. So might as well go ahead and just take it out.
Just an interesting little bit of routing. And Kohrek's got to be careful because any bite from those chain jumps is killing him. For those asking in chat, the ice rod was on the ether tablet, the book was on the mushroom spot, mushroom was on Zora Ledge that Willard could not check when he went to King Zora.
It's basically the worst possible fletch quest you could imagine for Willard.
Yeah, that's definitely probably a last location for Willard at this point. I mean, after this, there's a blind pedestal pull here for Willard. Potential.
I guess we also should not call this over yet because this is still expert swordless. This is not an easy finish by any means.
No, the execution's still going to have to come in big for Kohrek, and it hasn't been the cleanest that I've seen from him, but still at a very high level. Not to discount what he's been doing at all. I mean, nobody wants to go through any of these fights swordless. I mean, that cold stare fight, while rough, he made good use of the safeties he picked up. He's going through and making use of the most of his arsenal that he can. Kohrek's clearing here through Turtle Rock. We know there's nothing of note inside. Willard is making their way through Swamp Palace. We also know there's nothing here. The big key is on the ice rod, which is on Ether Tablet. Kohrek still needs to find their magic mirror, but we know that's in Super Bunny Cave, and that's likely next on their list once they finish Turtle Rock. Definitely not over by any means. There's a lot of execution inside, but signs are pointing toward Kohrek, sending us tying up this series after this game.
Oh no, this would be a 2-0 advantage for Kohrek.
Or excuse me, that's what I meant to say. But you know, I can't read Triforces apparently.
Meanwhile, over on Willard's side, we're about to get a menu boss.
Alright, so who wants to look at the slideshow for our vacation to Swamp Palace? On this slide, you'll find the hammer. On this slide, you'll find the hook shot. Hammer. Hook shot.
Meanwhile, Kohrek is almost at Laser Bridge. He's got to go there to get a key.
If he makes it there, you can't just dash to the Helmosaur now without the sword. He goes ahead and shows him an arrow to the face.
He's going to take safety door, not taking any risks here.
100% you take this door. Alright, we have to make through some laser skips here. First chest the map. Where is the key here? Oh, look, the hard hat beetle. As Willard makes a quick and easy work of that slideshow fight. Gets what would have been a sword from Argus there, and gets his final pendant. The pedestal is now in play for WillardJBradley.
So is Saharslaw. I think that's going to be his next 2 checks. Now, Willard's hope basically is not to go to Turtle Rock. He needs to, at this point, what he needs to do... Oh, he's going to grab the shovel while he's here, since he's got the mirror.
Grab the shovel, because fetch quests. The name of the seed is fetch quests.
Willard basically can't go to Turtle Rock. If he goes up and gets the mushroom from Zora as well, we've got a race. I think he's going for Zora as well. He's going to grab the mushroom. Or no, wait.
Wait.
He's going to do Hobo.
Go to Hobo. He hasn't done a Hobo yet.
Yeah, if you're hoping for Willard to win, you're hoping for him to go to Zora. Meanwhile, Kohrek's on the Trinex fight. This is actually not too bad in Swordless. You're pretty much practiced on this fight, so this one's not so bad.
He's just having to deal with the guaranteed ice floor at this point.
Alright, Willard's fluting away. Does he go to 8 to go to Zora? Nope. He's gonna go turn in the pendant and do the dig spot.
Alright, so he's on to the dig spot here. Kohrek being very patient with his Trinex fight. Willard's gonna run up and strike the earth and be disappointed with what he finds. 10 sticks, not much of a buried treasure. But he'll use them. And that's a flute to 1.
He's going for Turtle Rock.
Because that's gotta be on Laser Bridge, right?
That's what he's got to be thinking right now.
Alright, and that is the final crystal for Kohrek. He just needs to go into Super Bunny Cave and grab the mirror. One thing that could change this race if he just accidentally isolates this and then runs into GT. But he's got his hookshot in hand. He's going to go ahead and take care of his Dark World checks here.
But since he's likely going to go to GT after this, let's go ahead and start up our game.
That was probably a good guess. So, if you are a sub or supporter of any of the speed game channels with a sub or 250 bits or more, get your guesses in chat now to find the big key. There's between 1 and 22 are the locations for the big key chest. Or for where the big key could be hiding in Ganon's tower. Get your guesses in fast, folks, because once he enters in, the game is closed.
And he's going into Super Bunny Cave. He's going to grab his mirror.
So, where do you think that that one's going to be there, JP?
Yeah, I usually go with 15. That's my normal guess.
I go with 17, but somebody sniped it, so I went 16. There aren't a lot of games left to make your way up that lead. So at 1 hour and 44 minutes, Kohrek has found his way into go mode. The crystals are spinning. Get your guesses in fast. We're going into Ganon's tower. The game closes in just a moment. As Willard is making their way into Ganon's, making their way through Turtle Rock.
Alright, we're gonna stop the game now as Kohrek goes downstairs.
Location number 1 is a small key. Going with the full left. Interesting. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't like to leave that first room on the right open because if the big key's there, that's potentially a huge time loss. But at least for the start, Kohrek's gonna do that.
Location 2, Compass. Location 3, Big 20. Number 4, $5. And looks like we're going to kind of a Dark Magician there. That's number 5, a small key. So Willard has to make his way to the mushroom in order to get his book to get his ice rod. Number 6, a piece of heart. Number 7, $20. Making our way through the Gibdo room, Willard has to be careful. If he gets bit by a chain chomp, that's the end of him.
Yeah, he's taking this slower now that he took that first hit.
I don't think you can punt the block without a sword, but I don't know. Alright, and we're into our next 4 locations. Number 8, 3 bombs. Number 9, a piece of art. It's another Arctator 10. And 11 are 20s, so Kohrek's up to 7 hearts now. We're now even in the health department. So right side's coming up a bus, he's gonna snipe a key and head on over to the other side.
And as Willard takes a few seconds as Evil Homer, Kohrek goes back to the left side.
I've always wanted to be Evil Homer. Note to self, play Homer Sprite later. And that's number 12, a small key.
So Willard's continuing through Turtle Rock. Gonna grab a little bit of magic here since he just used his last few shots.
Bonking our way over. Location number 13, a small key. We're gonna press on into the randomizer room. Name so because you're not gonna come here unless you're playing rando. And he misses that spot there. 14, 5 rubies. 15, 10 arrows. 16, the big key. And 17, a piece of heart. Alright, and we're heading on up to the gauntlet on Kohrek's side. And JP, what's the result there?
Well, it looks like you got it first today.
Holy crap, I actually won something! It's a miracle! Or I'm a witch. Just go ahead and burn me now.
So Kohrek, at this point, it's mostly execution. Which, this is going to be a tough climb. Meanwhile, Willard's doing laser bridge. So, for Willard, the question is after this, where does he go?
Well, he knows he doesn't have the ice rod. Or he will in a moment.
I just can't see him going for that mushroom until his last possible thing. I'd see him doing pedestal and Saharsla first. Because they're both light world checks and he can save his portal the easiest.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little on fire at the moment. Alright, so Willard's run out of locations. I mean, he doesn't have that much left.
Basically, pedestal, Saharsla, and that mushroom. I think that's about it. And he's starting with pedestal.
Definitely a bit of a feels bad moment here.
Little knowledge there, those apples each give you a heart. Oh, Kohrek's down.
Apples pulled, sorry. Just unleash the bee on them. That'll do it, right?
It could help.
I don't think it's the golden bee yet.
Well, for those of you who want it, here's your pedestal pull.
Unfortunately, well, I'm just curious at what it is at least. $20! Couch cash, move along. Gotta love that pedestal.
And where's next? Okay, he's going to Zora. He's gonna get his mushroom. And that's gonna send him along his fetch quest.
Who likes layers on their fetch quests? As of course he has to be almost gets killed by the freaking crab. I definitely have to say it's just one of those times. Nothing that Willard's done can be truly considered wrong. This is just a case of Randomizer being Randomizer. He made the choice to go to Zora early when he didn't have access to the Zora ledge, and this has ended up just about costing him the race, barring some execution.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
There's a lot of execution between the end of this race yet. We have 2 Aghanim fights and a Ganon fight yet. And Kohrek still needs to go through Swamp Palace, where Willard's just gonna have to gun their way back through.
Well, if Willard does not go to Dark World, or I forget exactly how this works, he can save that portal, and he doesn't have to touch Dark World to get the Ice Rod. So if he plays this right, he could save that portal, get to Trinex.
He has to know that he has to take that book directly to the Ether Tablet.
If he goes for Bombos first, he's going to have to redo Turtle Rock.
But he has to go the long way around.
He's going to 1.
And he's going to hook shot in hand.
The thing is, he's going to have to go the long way around. Yep, he knows it. He wants to save his portal. He's going to take the long way to get to that tablet. Meanwhile, Kohrek's at full health. He's on Moldorm 2.
Well, and then there's still, so Willard still has to kill Trinex, pull the key out of a deep side, the deep half of left side GT, and Castle Tower.
Yeah, I'd say Kohrek's ahead, but it's. I mean,
it comes down to boss execution right now. The Ganon fight could change this different.
And those mini Helmosaurs are also not helping. Kohrek lost a few hearts there.
He's got the Agatu and he's got the swag net, as Willard J. Bradley's gonna read his book and finally find his go mode in 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 53 seconds.
What a setup! But Kohrek only gets one.
Such is the swag net.
Willard gets the fairy, he's dropping into Trinex.
Well done on this side. Just a good bit of game knowledge demonstrated by Willard J. Bradley there to preserve that Dark World portal to get himself back into Trinex and save quite a bit of time. If he had destroyed that portal, that would have added in, what, another 4 minutes at least?
Something like that. Willard's out of magic, so he can't do any magic in that room. Kohrek down to 1 heart, but he's got Aga 2 down.
He's gonna go
Now
in
he still has to,
Aga 1 and Swamp Palace.
and most likely I'm expecting Kohrek to go down and grab the fairy from the tree first, before he does anything else. Meanwhile, Willard is on Trinex.
Three strikes of the hammer, another application of ice round, 1, 2, gets his menu off, well done.
Oh, never mind, Kohrek's just gonna go in with 1 heart. He might take a death quick once he gets in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't see that. I would not see that being the worst thing ever. Just just gonna bomb himself.
Exactly. I think it would have been about equal to go grab that fairy and bomb him. Well, actually, the bomb might be a little faster. You won't get full life out of it, but a little faster.
Let's go ahead and pull out his fire rod and burn down these ball and chain guards real quick. And blink and I missed it. Down went Trinex for Willard J. Bradley. He's gonna go through Ganon's Tower. Now, if he commits straight left, that gives him a little bit of time back. Though one would, I don't see that happen very often. Well, let's go ahead and dash their way over to Ganon's Tower. See how long it takes them to find their big key. A straight left would help bring a little bit of time into Willard, but as Kohrek is quickly making their way through the castle tower, trying to get these guards to cooperate with him.
Now, the advantage for Kohrek doing this first before Swamp is that once he clears Swamp, he can save and quit and be just put right on the pyramid. It'll cost him a little health, but he'll get there faster.
And the big key is in Randomizer room.
And the fact that Willard went left first makes me think he's going to do a Dark Magician as well.
Alright, Kohrek's gonna walk their way past this room of guards.
And yep, Willard's doing the Dark Magician route.
Kohrek's making their way through their technically first, but our second required geometry test of this run. Willard's dashing past the tile room. You have to imagine he feels relatively behind after having to wait so long to find that item.
Now it's worth remembering that whatever Kohrek gets, Willard will get as well for this fight.
Yep. Yep, RNG is seeded for both the first Ganon and first Aga 1 fights, and Aga 2s.
Alright, so Willard's done the right, he's gonna go back left. Kohrek still has a few more shots to get into Aga.
Willard's back on the left side, and Aghanim is down for Kohrek. Now he just has an Argus fight between a Go Mode Swamp Palace between him and the King of All Bacon.
He's gonna grab some potions first.
Well, we've got plenty of bottles here. It's gonna give them a B for their trouble. I imagine he's probably just gonna grab full 4 blue potions right here. Alright, Kohrek's making their way over to Swamp Palace.
Lord's about to grab his big key.
Picks it up in the same location that Kohrek did. Go ahead and he's gonna head on up toward the gauntlet here. Kohrek's just got a Go Mode Swamp Palace between him and a date with Ganon.
Yeah, I think Kohrek's about 5 to 6 minutes ahead right now. That'd be my guess.
At least that.
Willard getting ping-ponged around by those lasers. Down to 1 heart, he's got to be careful.
Kohrek clears to the first room, is going to head on deeper into Swamp Palace, just has to go through the backside. Swamp Palace being one of the more interesting dungeons, is it's the one that's basically fully item locked, as opposed to key locked like most dungeons are.
I expect Willard's going to take the safety door here. Yep.
And it's because of this that it was determined that bonking is a developer-intended trick, because that's the only way you can make it over there.
Also interesting to note that Willard has 8 hearts at this point. He's 1 short of max, which just shows how much he's had to collect in this seed.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of just tough logic has put us into a situation where we're almost 100%ing this game. It also leads me to believe that I don't think Kohrek will find that other heart container. He's probably going in again with the 7 hearts he has.
It's worth also remembering, he's got to do a swordless Ganon fight. And that's not easy. I'm assuming he's practiced it some, but swordless Ganon, if you're not used to it, is a very tricky fight.
Oh, absolutely. That hammer hitbox is fun on its own. Then have to go through and deal with Ganon and the bats and everything else he throws at you. Nice little bit of hesitation there. I have to say that that's one of my least favorite rooms, as you cannot damage the water Tektites at all if you're not in the water, and then you can't do damage to them anyway.
Alright, Kohrek's got his menu boss. Willard making his way to the torches.
I'm just assuming that there's some menuing going on there. Even slower slideshow than usual. Willard's gotta be careful with his magic usage here.
He's got one little green pot he'll pick up here, so he can get his fire rod shut off.
Making his way up to the top, making sure not to accidentally despawn the tower. Well executed Hammer Argus here so far from Kohrek, aside from that one little puff hug you just took. Almost stun locks him there.
And that's Kohrek's last dungeon done. He just has to beat Ganon.
Alright, Pendant held aloft to this guy. He's then on and over to the King of All Bacon, as Moldorm is stuck in an interesting pattern right now.
That is the first time I think I've seen Moldorm stuck in that corner.
And thank you, LT-Gray6, for the sub. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming. Helps keep the lights on here.
Alright, Kohrek dropping into his Ganon fight.
I won't give you the Triforce. I'll defeat you. So far, Kohrek's doing pretty well with this hammer Ganon fight. Has to watch out for that trident, though. Well, gets a nice setup here.
Ooh, he took a hit. He's down to 1 heart.
At that point, though, his taking a hit was his only escape, unless he caped, which he doesn't have.
That's a good point.
He pretty much committed to taking a hit there.
But he is through the worst of the fight.
Now it's just a matter of Ganon holding still.
Willard's got Aga 2 down. He still needs to do Aga 1.
Did we find the arrows in the Dark Palace? You bet we did. And Kohrek gets his glitch. Gets Ganon there. Remembers to turn on his silver arrows and fires 2 into the big pig. Ooh, just a little close there. 2 more arrows to the big pig. And the Ganon explodes. The fanfare plays. As Kohrek holds his hand to the sky, he just a 1x3 bid is all that separates between him and his second game victory. And get your GGs in chat here, folks, because Kohrek has finished his race in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 31 seconds. GG. As Willard's going to go ahead and climb their way through the castle tower. What a race we definitely had here. So what are your thoughts on that, JP, before we get Kohrek in here?
Well, I mean, this was about as tough as it could be. I mean, I feel like for the most part, Willard had the better race. I feel like Willard's just executed this seed much better. It just came down to rando. I mean, it just was like... there's not much else you can say. Sometimes these seeds just come down to that. You make that one decision, and it just changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those times where Randomizer just does Randomizer things. Where what could be the correct decision, what is not technically a wrong decision, is just incorrect for the current seed you're in. All right, and we are now joined by Kohrek in the chat. GG's to you.
GG's, thank you.
So, what did you think of that seed?
Well, this is certainly Willard's pick. I'm not a huge fan of Swordless in general, and Swordless Expert is kind of a grind. He definitely, coming into this, had the execution advantage in this mode. I knew that, and that was fine. But, you know, I at least did all right, I guess, and, you know, came out ahead. Got a little bit lucky, I suppose, with not going to Zora without the flippers, but that seems to have been the difference here.
Yeah, that definitely is what the difference came down to. And not to discount your own execution, I wanted to call on to the cold stare fight. I wanted to compliment you on that and just going through and making. And I found that your use of the safeties that you picked up for yourself was definitely key.
I am definitely not afraid to use safeties in modes like this. You know, sometimes I know a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but some people want to tough it out and swag. And for me, it's just I just want to get through this fight alive. Thank you. Just let me do that.
I mean, swag doesn't and the swag doesn't get crystals all the time. I definitely don't disagree with you there, though. Harken back to Blind, who gave you a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, that was rough, but I kind of expected that was going to happen. I don't even know why I went back the second time. He didn't have an item. Could just wait till I had the cane when it would be easier, but that was probably like my one real mistake the entire time, was just trying to go face tank Blind with the hammer for some reason.
Well, just sometimes you decide to tough it out. Trying to think of and you got anything, JP?
I mean, this was a very interesting seed. I mean, it got a little linear at times, I'd say. The hookshot blocked a lot. Yeah, that book, we just weren't sure if that book was going to be a game changer or not for a while. When we first saw the book, we're like, and we saw the cane off the book, we thought, well, if the mirror is behind the cane, then that's a huge advantage. But then Willard found the mirror first. So we're thinking, okay, maybe he's okay not finding that book, and then, yeah.
It's sometimes good to have knowledge of ice. What did you think of that ice rod location, Kohrek?
I mean, it's interesting to play a mode that you have the tablets back in Logic, and actually both of Willard's picks for this weekend have the tablets in Logic.
And it kind of messes with you if you're sort of playing most of these seeds where the known bug where just tablets aren't holding onto progression. Now you're pulling yourself into a mode where it's just that this is the only condition that creates this. Also, one of the points I was bringing up through the race that I found interesting was just how sequence breaks both helped and hurt runners in the same race. Where, like, for example, your sequence break of going through and grabbing the old man came up big for you because you got the moon pearl early. And then sequence breaks come up rather rough for Willard because he walked up and grabbed the pyramid fairy, or the waterfall fairy, and had to abandon the mushroom on the ledge, which came up big. Just where I guess it's just examples of just your thoughts on examples of things like that happening, or just rando being rando.
Yeah, you can try to route to avoid things like that happening, but eventually sometimes it just comes and bites you a little bit.
Well, they're go ahead and making relatively safe work of the Ganon fight here. Just gonna need him to hold still. It's nice to see the use of the cape glitch there, where to get out of that spot where you took the bat hit, he decided he used the cape and grabbed onto the wall. So as he's getting close to the end of this, are you... So I believe, is Game 3 your pick, Kohrek?
It will be Willard's pick.
Okay.
Though Kohrek did get a veto.
And swordless, I believe, was that one?
Yes, that was my veto.
All right, so looking forward to tomorrow. Expert Retro. How do you feel about going into Retro? First, I want to call attention to the fact that the Big Pig is down a 1x3 bridge. Is all that separates Willard from joining us here in the booth. And I can now announce that he has finished this race in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 18 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for WillardJBradley. That was a tough seed.
As far as retro goes, I'm pretty, I'm pretty ambivalent overall, but at the same time, I haven't played retro, and I don't. It's not that I'm a huge fan of retro or anything, but I think it deserves a little bit of attention. So I'm happy to play it, and it should be a good time.
It definitely seems to be one of the more lamented game modes out there, but I think I think it's I think it's really interesting to watch from a viewer's perspective. And we are now been joined by WillardJBradley in the chat. GG's to you.
GG's.
GG, Willard.
I guess just I'm starting to feel bad that just like, did you break a mirror recently? It just seems to be unlucky for you.
I don't know, man. I'm on a 5-game losing streak that I'd say the majority of it's all just getting randoed. So, yeah. It's really frustrating. I mean, I had a Vidi death that cost me a good chunk of time, but like, could a sequence break Old Man? I was thinking about it, but I was like, what are the odds that I'm finding a lamp in Eastern to get a Moon Pearl from Old Man? I flipped a coin after Swamp. I was like, all right, I'm either going to go do Shovel or I'm going to go do Mushroom. And I picked Shovel. And I just can't catch a break. It's really frustrating.
Well, DM me after this. I'll overnight you a rabbit's foot or something to switch this around.
Sounds good.
All right.
You have a field by your house. Maybe you can go pick a four-leaf cloak.
Wow, JP, what a struggle.
There's a 4-leaf clover there somewhere under the ice and snow.
Man, I would take some ice and snow out here in LA. We're just getting rain. That's about it.
Oh. Sorry.
But yeah.
I'm just stuck in the polar vortex.
I don't really know what to say about this seed. It was a really nice, generous seed for Expert. I mean, it's not very often I get to finish with 8 hearts, but that's because I full cleared. But, Bamos is always a nice to see because that makes the Cold Stare fight a lot easier, assuming you get Fire Rod too. Bugnet was nice to see, so a lot of things that made a lot of the bosses easy. I'm upset about that Vidi death because I was just impatient. I tried to sneak in one more arrow. I think I needed one more arrow to take out that eyeball. And that did me in, so that was a huge time loss. And after that, it's just, all right, I need an Ice Rod. I have a couple overworld checks, I have all of Swamp, or I have T-Rock, which is literally like one of the worst places to be in a tourney race. Because how do you do that? How do you make the right choice? What do you do? What's the best choice? So...
All right, and a question from chat that I actually kind of wanted to kind of have a nice reminding. After you cleared through Swamp, you jumped into the lake, and was that just that 50-50 moment of the Shovel or the Mushroom where you swam toward the Zora portal but then went back up?
I'd forgotten I didn't do Hobo, and I was like, oh crap, if it's there, I'm screwed. So I went up and got that. I was about to go get the Mushroom too, but I was like, all right, I'm going to flute away, I'm going to check Shovel, and then maybe flute back to go get the Mushroom. But, at that point, it's like, I have that or Pedestal, 2 items. What are the odds that those are going to have what I need? And every single time I make that choice, it's always wrong. I've lost the last 5 games all to Overworld checks, 100%. Every single one has been to, what are the odds that this last Overworld spot is going to have what I needed? And every time I didn't do it, and then I needed it. So
Well, sometimes randomizer can just be randomizer. What may not be the wrong play just ends up being so because that's just what happens. Nice to see if that could just be switched for your future races. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get close to the end here. Tomorrow begins our final. Who do you got, Kohrek?
I mean, I gotta root for my boy Thelaine, and plus he beat me, so it's kind of like me beating Andy, right? Right? Yeah.
yeah, I gotta cheer for Andy just because he beat me. So I'd rather lose to the champ than the runner-up. Sorry, Thelaine. So because of that stupid GT route you and Kohrek did in that last game, that has spoiled my taste. But I'm just at least hoping for like a game 5. That'd be sweet.
It definitely should be fun. And how are you guys feeling going into your game 3 tomorrow?
It's retro. It'll be a meme. Had to sneak in at least one retro by the end, right? It's gonna be interesting. I haven't played retro in months. I haven't played it yet this journey, so I'll have to do a little study up and see. I'll have a list of all the locations of where places are, and we'll just see how it goes. It's gonna be awkward.
Yep, same.
Interesting. As many games as you guys have played, the retro has not yet come up. And I don't know. I think it's a very interesting bit of just to watch. It's just the little bit of change there, and just having to change the routing and having to add in the thought of money management to this game, which you don't normally see. And with it being expert, it's not as big of a deal without the silvers. But I want to thank you both for this excellent race, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Should be good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for racing for us.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
All right, we'll let you guys go. Looking forward to the rest of the day. In just a few minutes here, there's going to be some Zelda 1 randomizer right here on this channel for the all boards, no swords Zelda 1 randomizer tournament. Looks like a lot of fun. Right now on Speed Gaming 2, there's an SMB 3 randomizer going on. Love you some Super Mario 3. Zelda 1, Metroid 1 randomizer coming up later on this channel, as well as Donkey Kong Country 3. The big race, of course, looking forward to tomorrow on both the main Speed Gaming channel and Speed Gaming Deutsch. We have Game 1 of the finals between Thelaine and Andy. That is a all-dungeon standard, Uncle Assured hard mode key sanity race. That should be a lot of fun here. Also, on a channel yet to be determined, we will have Game 3 between these two at 9 p.m. Eastern, and that will be a all-dungeon standard Uncle Assured Expert Retro. So that should be a lot of fun. And that is 4:30 Eastern for the Game 1 of the finals. JP, any final thoughts before we send them off to take us off the air?
Not really. I think I kind of just want to see this one go a few more games. I want Willard's luck to turn around. I want him to, make this series interesting. Let's take it to Game 5. Let's have these two play 5. And give them a Expert Randomizer in Game 5 as part of their random roll. And as I say that, I'm almost certain Willard is going to veto at least one of those.
I mean, he seems to be comfortable with Expert. Maybe not Randomizer. But
no, I was making fun of him. He's kind of talked about Expert Randomizer, so.
All right, if you have not given a follow to the runners, please do so. WillardJBradley and Kohrek are there on Twitch. Give JP a bit of a follow there. I know he does a bit more streaming than I do. I certainly don't do a whole lot. Thanks to our tracker there, Relkin. Thank you all to the Speed Gaming staff and the tournament admins that keep this running. If you have not already done so, give a follow to Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well to a link to the past or ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5. There's lots of action. The tournament may be coming to a close, and there's not a major tournament coming until after SGDQ, but there may still be some fun action and plenty of Speed Gaming and races heading on first. And for JP, I am Bungie to the Tree. Thank you so much. Good night and good rando.
Good night, everybody.